In 1785, several children in the township of Blair, Maryland, accused Ellie Kedward of witchcraft. She was found guilty and banished in the middle of winter. It was assumed she died from exposure. The following year, all of her accusers and half the town's children had vanished. Fearing a curse, the entire township fled as soon as the weather broke and vowed never to utter the name Ellie Kedward again.
You look a little blurry there. Let me zoom out on you. Okay. Good morning.
Got it?
Okay, I got you.
This is my home.
Okay. Wow.
Which I am leaving the comforts of for the weekend to explore the Blair Witch.
Well, Heather was probably one of the 2 or 3 best students that I've had the pleasure of teaching. She was committed. She was energetic. She was very creative. She was someone who I think reminded me of myself really a lot at her age. She was looking to develop and find her voice. Plus she was interested in documentaries, which my own background is in documentaries.
I met Heather in high school. I met her when I moved to Montgomery County, Maryland. She was one of the first people that I actually met. Just met her in passing in the hallway, and then we were in a play together, and that's how we really became acquainted.
Here's this tiny little thing that first go in, and of course Mama's there and the baby's been brought up for the first time. I stick my arms out to go pick her up, and I said, "Careful, careful, you'll break." Oh, I said, "I didn't break the others, how am I going to break this one?" So I picked her up and held her, I guess for an hour or so before I gave her back to Mama.
She had submitted a proposal to me to do a short documentary on the legend of Blair Witch. It was something I had never heard of before, to tell you the truth.
We're doing a documentary about the Blair Witch.
Oh,
have you heard of the Blair Witch?
oh yeah, that's an old story. So I remember.
Here was a legend that had developed in this area over a course of a couple of centuries. Whenever a particular bad sequence of events happened in this community, there seemed to be a tendency to blame it on Blair Witch, who apparently was a woman who had been cast out during the colonial era as a witch. It seemed like a great opportunity to interview people who had been passing down this legend for a couple of centuries, really.
Could you just run it for a couple of feet for me so we can check that it's okay?
Sure.
Joshua was more glitz. He thought it would be cool to be in the film business. He was not willing, I don't think, to do the kind of work that was really necessary to develop a voice. And I think Heather and Josh were really sort of polar opposites in a lot of ways, but clearly they liked each other.
I didn't know Heather very well. I think I guess I really only met her once. And that's when she was talking about the Blair Witch documentary and going into the woods and wanting Josh to be a part of that.
They collaborated on several projects together. I mentioned to her a couple of times that I was concerned that some of the negative aspects of his really lack of commitment and energy would perhaps be negative for her. But it turns out that they did like working together.
It didn't really go over too well because I remember we fought about it before he left. And I mean, I feel really badly about that now because, I mean, we argued horribly, but I just had this feeling I didn't want him to go off with her. There was just something about her that rubbed me the wrong way. It was just instinct, I guess. I didn't want him to go off for the whole weekend, though, no.
So what's up? Are you happy with the way the documentary's going?
Yes, I am.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I'm very pleasantly surprised by our little Mikey.
Our little Mikey?
Our little Mikey.
When he was a little kid, he was a pain in the, you know, he was a pain. He was really always pushing my parents' buttons. Sort of the devil with the halo on his head. We had the golden rule of no cursing in the house, and of course he'd have to walk by and slip out the little ones. Nothing bad, but he was always sort of, you know, on the side, and you know, they'd catch it, and then he'd catch it. So he was always that kind of character.
I met him a couple of times, actually. Josh used to go out with Mike to, you know, go drinking and stuff, and but I wouldn't say I knew him really well.
The last night I saw him, he was excited. He was really happy with himself. He came into the house. He was all packed and ready to go for the next day. And we sat down, we had a cup of coffee together, and we talked about the whole thing. And he really didn't know too much about it. That's what they were going to find out. But it was something that he really felt that he loved doing. You know, doing the sound equipment stuff, and you know, I just told him to go out there and be happy. Make yourself something.
I could help you, but I'd rather stand and record.
Okay. Packs are on.
Rock.
We're ready to go.
We gotta go up to the shack, the shanty.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh my God, this is very heavy.
The search of the 3 missing Montgomery College students continues in Frederick County tonight as dozens of volunteers and state officials join local forces in what has now become a full-scale search of the Black Hills area.
Local officials, combined with over 100 search volunteers, have failed to come up with any signs of the 3 missing filmmakers. Montgomery College film students Heather Donahue, Michael Williams, and Joshua Leonard were reportedly shooting a school project about a local myth called the Blair Witch. At this time, their whereabouts are still unknown.
Josh feels it's necessary to look at the map now, even though I know where we're going, and we're going straight ahead up there.
If you've known where we're going, we wouldn't be hiking like... We're in the middle of the woods.
Some of it is off-trail hiking.
I have harbored some guilt because as I looked back over the proposal later, I realized that I had neglected to notice that Heather had suggested going into the woods for a couple of days working on the film.
We started to wonder the next day, and my parents started panicking, and for weeks after that it was just numb. I don't really remember feeling too much other than numbness.
When I saw her mother, that's probably the first time I really felt it, and I started to cry.
The only piece of evidence found by police was Joshua Leonard's car, parked on Black Rock Road.
We checked the car over completely, never found any clues with the vehicle. We checked with witnesses that may have seen the film students, and we can never locate them.
The Black Hills search of 3 missing filmmakers has been called off. 10 days and thousands of man-hours have been unable to produce any clues to the cause of the mysterious disappearances. Family and friends of the Montgomery College graduates are holding on to the hope that someone or something will provide some answers.